Hello, welcome back to Crushing Sounds. My name is Chris, and it's of course that time of the year for our top albums of 2021. So another very, very odd year has come and gone. I'm sure you'll agree. Still in the clutches of, the worst pandemic seen in 100 years. Things started to return to normality in terms of live performance front. I was able to get to a few shows this year. Obviously, Bloodstock, greatest Bloodstock I've ever been to, as I'm sure Mike would agree with that as well. Saw a couple shows since then, of course. Rough Trade, there was an awesome show with Moon Reaper, Bear Pig, Silas as well. Just really, really fun night. That was awesome. This is unscripted, by the way, so expect there to be a lot of rambling. But yeah, of course, we now come to our roundup video, basically, where I talk to you about what happened this year, and of course, more importantly, my favourite albums of the year. However, of course, I do not profess to have heard every metal album that came out this year. Heck, I probably didn't even listen to most of them. Not because I wasn't trying to, but I say this every year. I got very, very busy. However, I'm very happy to say that this year I was busy because of this channel. I decided on a whim, just for the hell of it, to interview bands that would be at Bristol's Metal to the Masses final this year. Of course, the event didn't happen, but I still interviewed a bunch of the bands. I just thought it'd be a really fun thing to do, and I got completely hooked on talking to heavy metal bands and musicians. It's been such a joy to do that this year. I'm really happy that I discovered that I really, really enjoy doing that. So it's definitely something that will be a big focus on this channel going forward in whatever form that it ends up being. So I first want to thank, personally, every single band and artist that joined us this year to feature on our channel. Redshift, Excursia, Fangs of the Dodo, Treb, Diaz Holocaustum, Serena Cherry of Svalbard, Repulsive Vision, Logistical Nightmare, Louis Clark of Callus, Matt of Fellowship, and Darby Todd. You are all incredible human beings. Thank you so much for making this an incredible year for the channel, and one that I won't forget, no matter how big this gets. And speaking of big, we've reached 74 subscribers, I think, at the time of this recording. That's just completely blown me away. The climb up from 0 to 50 was really slow, but things are ever so slightly starting to get a little bit faster now, which is really exciting. But I'm not a numbers guy. I just hope people are enjoying our stuff, and people seem to be. Comments are a bit more of a steady thing, which is cool to see. I did get my very, very first truly heinous comment, which affected me a little bit more than I was expecting it to, but we've all got to take that hit at some point, and yeah, you can go fuck yourself, that random dickhead, but whatever. Dickheads on the internet, who would have thought? So it's been overall a fantastic year for this channel. Once again, things are starting to get really, really, really fun. I'm really, really enjoying this. Hopefully, as things get a little bit easier, hopefully in the next year, I'll be able to get to more shows, meet more bands, some more face-to-face interviews. I would love to be able to do that. But of course, enough rambling about all the things that have gone well this year. Let's get to the main event, essentially. My favourite albums of 2021. I haven't reviewed all of these albums, but I obviously have heard them. So yeah, let's get right into the honourable mentions, of which I have 4 this year. And basically, all these albums are so good. This was such a difficult list to put together, both the honourable mentions and the actual top 10. And honourable mentions, first up, Logistical Nightmares, Scorched Earth. These guys seriously impressed me with their debut full-length album. I liked their the first single that I heard, and I thought there was a little bit of tweaking to be done. But for a brand new band who are pretty much learning all of this themselves, this is a really solid prog metal band. If they keep improving, they could be a really, really fucking awesome prog metal band. So definitely keep them on your radar. Nice work, boys, on your first full-length album. Massive achievement there. Next honorable mention, it's an EP. I am including EPs on these lists, by the way, because there's just loads of good EPs this year. The honorable mention, Knocked Loose, A Tear in the Fabric of Life. This is a hardcore metalcore band kind of thing. I'm really trying to come around to that subgenre. I've started to learn that whole kind of whiny pop, clean singing in the chorus kind of metalcore is not representative of the vast majority of the genre, just one specific sect of it. So apologies for that thing. But yeah, I heard this EP. It's really, really good, really heavy, really like just head-shatteringly heavy and brutal and whatnot. Shout out to Sam of Bear Pit for recommending I check that one out. It's really, really good. I liked it a lot. Next one, Callous, A Breath of Flesh Air. Again, brilliant album by a really, really good band that need more attention, definitely. I met Louis Clark on this channel. He's a great guy. Had a really good time chatting about this album. Seriously good, stoner, sludgy kind of groove metal. Really, really infectiously good. Lots of great riffs as well, and really good vocals. So definitely check that one out if you've not done this already. And look at the album artwork as well. It's just stunning. Last honourable mention, one that I'm sure most people would have expected to actually feature in the main list, but that just goes to show how good this year has been. Ginger Wildflowers. I have recently really, really got into Ginger. I've only know bits of their of a lot of their back catalogue, but I did hear their newest album, the one before this one, and I really, really liked it. I know a lot of people thought the EP that came before it was better, but I thought it was really solid. It was my main introduction to the band, and I liked it. This album is even better. It's seriously so good. These guys are going to be huge. I mean, they're getting big already, but they're going to keep growing. They're going to be one of the massive leaders of the proggy, genty kind of genre. Really, really good. So, of course, here we go. The main event, as it were. My top 10 favourite albums of 2021. I was actually able to make it to 10 this year. So, at number 10, we have Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined.
Twisted, criminal, underground, stuck against another victim for complete control.
Cannibal Corpse are probably going to feature here somewhere. Love a bit of that. I don't say dumb death metal, but really, really entertaining, really fun, over the top. Everyone knows Cannibal Corpse at this point. You know what they sound like. You know why they're brilliant. Just seconds into a Cannibal Corpse album, you know it's them. And they're spared no expense here. It's still Cannibal Corpse. It's still brutal. It's still awesome. Inhumane Harvest is a fucking awesome song. Really, really good. Slowly Sawn is good as well. Ritual Annihilation, just full of some awesome face-ripping tracks, which I'd expect nothing less from Cannibal Corpse. Number 9, Carcass, Torn Arteries. It's probably a lot of people's number 1 album of the year, and for good reason. It is really, really fucking good. When Carcass made their comeback with Surgical Steel, it was such a big moment. It's like Carcass are back. That album was amazing, and then they kind of just went away again. I think they released an EP recently as well, but this is their first full length since those, I think it's like 6 years ago or something. But it's really good. It's better than Surgical Steel. It's got so many brilliant face ripping tracks: Under the Scalpel Blade, Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited, The Size Remorseless Swing. Is that a reference to the Alan Johnson quote from Peep Show? I hope so. It's probably not, but I like to think that it is. Just so good. Carcass are on blistering form. So good. I hope it's not another long wait between albums, but if this is what it takes to keep the albums at this quality, take all the time you need, guys, because you guys are still fucking amazing for a band who've been going around for this long. Number 8. Another one that I think most people would have bumped a lot higher on their list, but I'm putting it here: Tribulation, Where the Bloom Becomes Sound. This is my first introduction to this band. I was literally looking through albums that I thought I might have missed this year, and I saw this one coming up on people's lists a lot, and for good reason. It's really, really good. It's kind of black metal, but they are very much inspired by the riffing of traditional heavy metal. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it's really engaging and catchy. I don't know, catchy is probably the wrong word, but just quite riff-filled black metal, I guess, is an interesting and kind of apt way to put it. That might put you off straight away if you're one of those true cult black metal guys, but really, really good stuff. The opening track in Remembrance is brilliant. Dirge of a Dying Soul is fantastic. Funeral Pyre is good. My only slight issue with the album is you do kind of feel its length a little bit. I think it's just shy of 50 minutes, and it does feel like it, which is a little bit of a issue, but I love the aesthetic, I love the sound, I love the vibe, so I'm definitely going to check out more of these guys. Number 7. Trivium in the Court of the Dragon. This is an album that's grown on me exponentially since I first checked it out. It's my first true foray into a Trivium album. I've heard quite a lot of their music sort of out of context across their career. This is the first album I've properly digested fully, and my god, do I really, really, really like this album. I liked it quite a bit when I first heard it, but the more I go back to it, the more moments I pick out, and I think this album is really, really good. I know Trivium maybe had a bit of a slump in their latter half of their career, but they are now very much fully back on top form. This album is so good. The title track is fantastic. One of my favourite tracks of the year by far. Shadow of the Abattoir. I had some issues with the recurring melody, but still a fantastic chorus and really good ending as well. The Phalanx, which I think is the closing track on the album, also blisteringly good. It's kind of a perfect blend between metalcore and thrash. Really, really solid stuff. Definitely going to check out some more Trivium at some point. Number 6. Wheel, Resident Human, one I don't really see many people talking about. It's really good. This is not just a placeholder Tool band, people. This is some seriously good modern prog metal. Yes, okay, there's some bits you can point to and say that sounds a little bit like Tool, but there's 90% of it is stuff you'd never hear from Tool, and I love Tool, don't get me wrong, but Wheel are doing so much new with the prog metal genre that I think is getting ignored, and that's really, 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 really frustrating. It's not just 10-minute, 13-minute brooding songs. They do those, and they do them really well, but tracks like Ascend is such a good song, but it's under 5 minutes long, but it has all the brilliant qualities that this band have. The really good circular riffing, the fantastic vocals, the really groovy as hell catchy melodies as well. Just so good. Listen to this album, for God's sake, it's so good. At number 5. Yes, it's that good. Moonreaper's debut EP, Descent, is fantastic for a debut release. It's just so good. It's like epic doom black metal, but just so hard hitting. I love this EP so much. I reviewed the song Spiralism ahead of its release, and I loved it then. I still love it now. The whole damn thing is fantastic. I've not written down a core track to go listen to the whole damn thing. Moonreaper are so good, and if this is their first outing, this band are going to be brilliant. So for God's sake, go listen to Moonreaper from Bristol. They are brilliant. Number 4.
I have the cancer creeping down your spine.
This one's just fucking awesome. Evil, Hell Unleashed, number 4. Just, yes. Evil are back, and they are better than ever. There was a little bit of skepticism and trepidation going into it with Aldrich now taking up vocal duties. What different dynamic is that going to sound? For me, they've never sounded this thrash. They are faster than before, more brutal than before. I do a little bit miss the melodies that their older stuff have, but the actual thrashy side, the really fucking heavy bit, is better than it's ever been before. Gore is my favourite song of this year. I love that song so much. It is brilliant. But the title track as well is awesome. The Thing 1982, specifically 1982, not any other things, are also brilliant as well. I caught them at Bloodstock, obviously. I'm sure loads of people did. They were fantastic at Bloodstock. One of the bands of the weekend by far. I'm seeing them in Bristol, hopefully in February. They're being supported by Divine Chaos. That's going to be fucking amazing. Oh, love this album. It's just so good, this album. Brilliant. Number 3. Noctool, Wretched Abyss, Serena Cherry of Svalbard's solo side project, and this new first album, Wretched Abyss, all about Skyrim. It's black metal meets Skyrim. What's not to love? It's just so good. Serena Cherry's high guitar melodies that she writes are so good, and they are brilliantly in the forefront in this album. Is just brilliant. It's it's not too much to digest it. It's black metal meets Skyrim with some incredible lead guitar lines as well. And if Mercure, however the hell you pronounce that, I think Mercure and now Noctool have proven to me that women just do black metal vocals better than the guys. So yeah, there you go. Number 2. The Body. I've seen all I need to see. This is always a really tough sell whenever I'm talking about The Body. They featured on some of my top 10 lists before. I still don't know how to describe it other than it's some of the most arresting, hypnotic, scary music I've ever heard in my life. This band released stuff on such a ridiculous basis. I think they released another album this year after this one with collaborating with another artist. I've not heard that one yet. I probably will get to it. But yeah, it's the fact I can't describe this and why I like it so much, to me, is just even better. I can't recommend a specific track because the whole thing is just one ridiculous package. But if you've not heard The Body, I do urge you to dip your toe in, but with trepidation, because it is very not for everyone at all. This is not an easily accessible sound, but I do think if you are going to dive in with this band, diving in with this one is going to give you some of the darkest and most bleak sounds that you will have heard this year, no doubt. And so we come to my number 1 favourite album of this year. It came out later in the year and it just overtook everything I heard this year. Number 1, Swallow the Sun, Moonflowers. I mean, this band is so good. They featured some of my top 10s before with their last album, When a Shadow is Forced into the Light. I can't exactly remember where I placed that, but it wasn't number 1. But this album is just better in every way, and I loved the previous album. This is some of the most beautiful, and emotional pieces of music that I've heard, definitely this year, but also for many years as well. It's just brilliant the way they juggle the really heavy bits with the really somber, brooding, beautiful melodic moments. Is a juggling act I've never seen topped by any other band. The closest I can think of is Opeth, but this band just so emotional. It's think a whole catalogue of music like Faith in Others by Opeth, just that kind of emotion we're talking about here, and the way that I don't know how they do it, it's just beautiful. All Hallows Creve is just so good. It features Cammy Gilbert of Oceans of Slumber, so congratulations, Cammy. You've hit my number 1 spot in some form for 2 years running now with the Oceans of Slumber's album last year. That song is incredible. Woven in Sorrow is really, really good. This House Has No Home is a fantastic closer. I can't fault this album so much. It's definitely not a put it on and listen to it in the background kind of thing. You've got to put your headphones on and really let it just envelop you. It's just brilliant. It's mesmerizing. It's haunting. It's a work of art, this album. Swallow the Sun's music is fast becoming some of my favorite music. I need to delve into their quite extensive catalog. These guys have been around a long time, and they should be way bigger than they are, because Moonflowers is this year's masterpiece. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope you somewhat agree with the list, or don't agree with it. Have your own 10 favorite albums. Let's try and expose as many brilliant albums as we can this year. So thanks again so much for everything this year. It's been a really, really good year for this channel, and I hope you're all coping okay with everything that has been going on this year. I know we all said this last year that we hoped the next year would be better, so everything is still uncertain. Let's not say let's make next year a better one. Let's say let's look after each other and make next year as safe as we can be, and yeah, look out for each other out there, from a safe distance of course, but look out for each other out there, and go listen to some amazing heavy metal. Get excited for 2022 heavy metal.